Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made these bracelets from a photo from social media. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL. And as I was saying, I'm going to show you how I made these bracelets, as well as explain some of the things I learned along the way. As I was saying, this project started with this image, and I obsessed over sorting out how the pattern was. It probably took me the better part of an afternoon, partially because my original attempts I had gotten the string count off, and that threw off everything. But once I got that and some new graph paper, which, by the way, is available on my website with the rest of the pages of the PDFs, I made that available because this way, if you guys want to, you can kind of work out the pattern for yourselves. And I definitely suggest it. I think that working out a pattern gives you some insights that you're not going to get otherwise. Anyways, here's an image of the Kumi setup. Now, you don't have to worry about trying to get it off of this video. I have made that available on the website, and there will be a link down in the description. You may notice that there's only 24 strings in the Kumi, and you would be right. There's a reason why I had to leave out 2 of the strands, and that's because if its count isn't divisible by 4, it won't let the pattern repeat properly. So the first time when we did this, we ran the 2 extra strands up the center. But later I discovered a better way of doing it, and basically I'll try to explain how that works. You leave out the 2 strands, and that when it comes time to sort out the strings, that you will use a lark's head like this to add them on their appropriate sides. Either way works, of course. There's other ways of doing the loop as well, if you're so inclined. I'm just trying to let you know what I did during this and how I overcame some of the problems. So as I was saying about those 2 extra strings, there's an important thing you have to do first. The number of colors on either side of this are not equal. So you have to trade the 2 pop colors that are on the left-hand side for the 2 of the foreground colors that are on the right. And then basically, if you kind of pull those nice and tight, you'll bring the loop down and kind of closed. And then you can use that lark's head to kind of bunch all of the strings on the right side and the left side. So when you're going to add those strings, you add the lighter one onto the right-hand side, and the darker foreground color goes to the left. And then you just do the single loop according to the patterns until the rest of it's all sorted. So I said this before, and it bears saying again, that I got all of this from an image, and I had to figure it out just from looking at this photo. And the thing about doing that is once I had, making the bracelet was easier. And I say this because there's certain little things that are going on that kind of didn't make sense, and I had really kind of struggled with when I was trying to create the pattern. An example there is a background color that just makes a dot right in the middle of where the bend in the pop color is, or how it isn't a background color, kind of comes in. It looks like it should be linked, but then it doesn't. And trying to sort that out and trying to make those colors available in that place was challenging, But once I realized kind of how it got there and what it takes to actually make that happen, it made actually making the bracelet easier and faster. In fact, when it came to making this, I had set up the strings before dinner, and then when I came back, I actually finished the whole bracelet before going to bed. So, just to kind of give you an idea, knowing how the whole bracelet works definitely helps to make the whole thing go a whole lot quicker. At least that's my experience. I'd rather take the time and work out the pattern than to take the time and sit there and undo knots and stuff. I think it kind of ruins the quality of the string, and I think it kind of shows in your work. So by actually doing this. Now, mind you, I've made this whole pattern available over on my website. So if you choose to use it and you don't try to work it out for yourself, I'm not going to discourage you. I mean, obviously, it's there for the taking, but I'm letting you know that my experience, I would say that because I've done this, it would make that much easier for the next pattern that comes down the line. And mind you, I probably have at least 80 that different bracelets. I either, wanted to either duplicate it or saw something in it and thought, wow, that's kind of fun. But what if I, changed whatever it was? In this case, I wanted to kind of play with the colors. And as you can tell, I did just that. I made 4 bracelets so far. And I still have to say, though, the one that I liked the most was that first one. But I don't know, maybe I still haven't quite got the bug out of my system yet. I think I might still make some more of these and trying to come up with what color combination I would like to have the most. Because one of these is probably going to be for me. I don't know which one yet, but that first one is probably the one I'm leaning to the most. If you like one of the other ones, tell me why. I'd really get interested in what people are most attracted to. So when it came to making this, I kind of got about halfway through it when I started trying to wonder how was I going to finish it. And I got this crazy idea that if you rotate the image, because of the way it kind of goes left and right, that it should be relatively symmetrical. And lo and behold, when I did it, it was going to line up perfectly. And so the way that it comes in at the beginning is exactly how I have it coming out at the end of the bracelet. So again, this kind of stuff isn't necessary, and it wouldn't necessarily work on every bracelet that you could come up with. But I think that paying attention to those little details is sometimes all the difference in the world. Mind you, I wouldn't probably write that in like on the description when I'm like selling these in my shop. But if somebody was, if I was at a fair or something, where I had my bracelets on display and somebody was asking me about it, I would definitely point it out. And I think that it would be a good selling feature, something that would make them go, wow, that's, you pay attention to detail. And that I think that kind of stuff helps make a sale. I could be wrong. It's just a personal experience. I used to hang out with these guys, the Deadheads, and they had stories for every single thing that they ever carried, right? And really good, lengthy stories at that. So that might be where I developed that kind of, wanting to tell the stories of my work. But it's still to be said, there is something about having thought about why you're going to do something the way that you do it, as opposed to just kind of ending blindly. At least that's my personal belief. The string for this was all cut in 1/3 of a skein, which the skeins are 8 meters. That's typical for pretty much most of the embroidery floss. And I have to say that it came pretty close on some of the strands to running out. It got nothing too dangerous, but it definitely had me worrying at, just past the halfway point if all of the strings were going to make it. I didn't have to do any detours or anything weird to try to salvage the project. So it worked out fine. Mind you, some strands end up really long, and I'm rather used to the whole notion that I don't cut some strings shorter than others just because. I'd rather have waste at the end than to run out of anything. So, again, that's just me personally. I don't say that you have to do this, but it works for me. So, there is that. I think that's about all I have for you guys here today. If you guys have color suggestions of things you think I should try this with, or maybe you make it yourself and then show me what you did, I'm game. Leave some comments down below or hit me with a tag over on Instagram. Of course, it's AKAAWOL over there as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what you guys do with this one. So until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.